You are now checked in to Stand Up New York Labs. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Mark, fake banter for the intro.
That's all I know how to do.
Great.
Good to be here.
Welcome to Tuesdays with
Stories.
Hit her in the face with a surfboard.
And then the duck fell out of his bag.
Surf's up. And she didn't even flush.
Knock, knock.
Who's there? Mark Norman and Joe List.
Yeah! This is Tuesdays with Stories, everybody.
No, that's terrible.
This is supposed to be cheesy.
My radio is spitting at me. And I can't choose.
Ah! Welcome to Tuesdays with Stories.
Woo! Woo! Mark Norman here.
Joe List over here.
Good to be back, everybody. It's just us going solo today, which is nice.
Solo, you can't even hear it. I feel like we should let this out. This is a new thing we're doing. We have one of those long, fancy tables that's like 70 feet long. We're each sitting at one end of it. It's really exciting. Mark just poured water on his shirt.
Yeah.
Or maybe his penis.
Remember that old gag? Or not old gag, but in the first Batman with Michael Keaton, he said, pass me the salt, and she had to walk over.
Yeah.
That was a fun gag.
I love that. They do a thing in JFK where they sit at the table like that.
Yeah.
You ever see JFK?
Oh, yeah. It was filmed in New Orleans.
Yeah, a lot of it, yeah. Most of it takes place in New Orleans.
That's right.
And one time I had I lived with Dan Bulger, a wonderful comedian, Ira Proctor, another wonderful comedian. They both have since moved back to Boston. We lived in New York, and our landlord was like an ex-cop, and then he was like a spy or some crazy shit. And he came over, and as a joke, Ira used to get all these muscle magazines of like these big beefcakes because they were so homoerotic. We used to laugh so hard.
Right. Yeah, they are those little bikini shorts.
Yeah, super gay, and they always had their dicks stocked, or what's that word?
Packed in?
Packed in.
Like fake ones?
Fake dicks.
Yeah,
What do you call that?
Package? Stuffing.
Stuffed?
Stuffed package.
No, it's called something. There's a verb, like fluffing or fluffed.
Fluffing is getting a boner.
Sugared. Well, I'm fluffing right now.
Sweetened?
Sweetened. They'd sweeten
They
it.
sweeten the dick.
I'll tell you, I've never had a dick that needed sweetening. You know what I mean?
Mine's a little sour.
Is it you that can blow himself?
I've done it.
What? How old?
What's today? No, I think it was about a year ago.
You did.
I mean, I got a couple licks in.
Yeah, look, it was you. Yeah,
I wasn't
you
doing, like pro moves.
I think I'm too lanky.
Yeah, but your dick is longer than mine,
I
which
got
is
a long
ironic.
dick, thanks.
What do you think you're pulling in? 12-ish?
Inches?
Yeah.
Oh, six and a quarter, maybe.
No.
I got a nice piece, I think.
I'm at 6, so you got to be longer than 6 and a quarter.
One time, Dan Sutter made me laugh real hard. We were in Montreal. We were sharing a hotel. And I thought it'd be funny if I got a full bone. I was in the shower. I was like, I'm going to get a full rod and just walk out casually. But I couldn't get it up because it was a dude thing.
Yeah.
But I only got it half. It was like that diving board length.
Oh, that's good.
I was like, well, this is still funny. So I came out and Sutter looked up and goes, whoa, you got a thick cut. It made me laugh and also feel good.
That is a nice compliment. Thick is good.
So anyways, I had these roommates, and we had all these beefcakes all over our walls. And I was watching JFK, one of my favorite movies. And the landlord came over. I opened the door, and it was right at that scene where Kevin Bacon and Tommy Lee Jones and Joe Pesci are all fucking. They're all dressed up and painted in gold. And we got all these guys. And I just that particular scene. So it just looks like I'm watching male porn.
Oh.
And it was really embarrassing. We had to move out.
That's the worst. I had a porn growing up called Porno Bizarro, and it had, a guy with 2 dicks, had a woman with 3 clits, had a woman with no teeth who would blow guys. It had all these fun little. There was a midget fucking a tall woman.
Right. Also took place in New Orleans.
Yeah. And I was watching the one with the midget banging the tall woman. My dad walked in.
Oh, wow.
So he's like, "What are you into midgets?" It was awful.
Were you jerking off at the time?
Yeah.
Because it seems like that would supersede whatever's on the video.
The video was clear, and then you turn a corner, you see me hiding.
Right.
So you saw the video first.
I've never had one single walk-in during sex or masturbation. I was always very careful. I think my parents were probably cautious, too. I think my parents, looking back, they probably knew every time I was jerking off.
Probably.
Yeah. I used to clean up with my tighty whities and then just throw them under the bed.
Uh-huh.
And then eventually they would all disappear and get clean. So my mother, I feel like I should make amends at some point for her having to clean little 14-year-old jizz. And 18 and 19. I kept doing it through.
Why throw it in the bed? Why not throw it in the hamper?
I don't know. I just felt like I needed to hide it. But then eventually she would clean the red room and find all this.
Because once you pick up that crunchy,
Yeah.
you know.
And she probably misbelieves that I was having wet dreams, which I've never had, because I would clean it up with the underwear, so it would be in the underwear. So she probably thinks, and like sometimes it would be on the butt, so she probably thinks I was wearing my underwear backwards while sleeping and coming. And
Interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, she's probably got a lot of questions just bottled up.
yeah. Maybe I'll talk to her about it.
You could do that? That's
I don't know. I
pretty-
make a lot of jokes about, like I talk about having herpes to my mother and stuff,
Oh, wow.
but not usually masturbation. That's a little weird.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you this story? One time, this is gonna offend our gay fans. I feel like we always have some sort of gay thing happening.
We
but,
love just for the record, love the gays.
Oh, I love the gays.
Big fan.
Yeah. I hate kids, so I love gays,
Yes.
and usually kind people. I feel.
I
Anyways.
agree, and they're never ignorant. Maybe you meet a drag queen,
Yeah.
but, you know.
Yeah, for the most part,
For the
they're
most
pretty
part.
intelligent folks. One time back in like 2001, we were underage, and I used to come down to New York with my buddies. And me and my friend Mike Hall was a hilarious guy. Everyone I know was hilarious. Still is. It's a beautiful life. Anyways, we went to on 9th Avenue. We went to one of these. Maybe it was 8th. We went to one of these like jerk off things. We were very young and we were hammered. And we were like, we're gonna go jerk off to some things, some live girls. We thought it was. We thought it was like put a quarter in it, the slides open. There's like a girl in there.
Right.
And so we're there, and it's like a bunch of booths, and there's like 6 other guys waiting outside, and I'm like looking at them, being like, "Right, guys, we're jerking off. This is fun." And Mike goes in first, and I'm like, "This is exciting," making eyes with all the guys, being like, "We're bonding." And all of a sudden, the door kicks open, like violently, swings open, and I see 3 guys fucking on the TV screen. And my buddy Mike goes, "It's all faggots." He goes, "We gotta get out of here." And then I realized that so we like run out of there like 2 maniacs, and I realized that the whole time I'm looking at these guys being like, "Hey guys, all right," and they probably think I was coming on to him.
Right.
And then he yells out "faggots" in the middle of the city. I'm like, "We're gonna get killed."
Yeah.
So we had to like run out of there.
Woo!
But looking back, it was really comical. I don't condone that sort of language, but
Remember how exciting those kind of play? Like, I remember, how old were you, 18 when you did that?
probably 19 or 20.
Yeah. I remember being like 16, 17, going in the French Quarter in New Orleans and going on Bourbon Street, and it was just like strip clubs, and we'd go to an adult bookstore. I remember we would buy books, and it would just be dirty stories. It was so exciting.
Yeah. Well, when I first could go to strip club, the idea of naked girls.
Oh, I know.
We used to go to I grew up in Boston, so we would go to Montreal like all
Is
the
that
time.
right?
Because you could drink at 18. They're the best strip clubs in the world.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So we would go up there. Everyone from Boston spent a ton of time in Montreal, and everyone in Montreal hates Boston kids. 'Cause there's also a big Canadians-Bruins rivalry, so
Right.
we'd go up with Bruins gears and be like, "Fuck you, you fucking assholes," and
Yeah.
knock stuff over and shit. And but boy, I got some great Montreal strip club stories.
Really?
Well, this was a Boston story. This is with Tom Dustin, our friend, who follow him on Twitter at Tom Dustin. Great guy.
Funny guy.
When I was like just turned 21, I started hanging out with Tom, and I don't know if my parents liked it because he was kind of this street city kid, and drunk and into drugs, and I sort of became that. And we went to the strip club, and Tom used to sell used cars.
Wow,
And,
is that right?
for years? Yeah,
Classic.
for like 20 years. Dropped out of high school to sell used cars.
Oh, this is perfect.
Made tons of money.
I could see him with the plaid jacket,
Oh,
out there.
he's a real salesman. He still has all those qualities now. It's great to be on road trips with him because he's a good finagler.
Yes, I could see him kicking a bumper, it falling off me, like, you don't need that anyway. or something like
He's
that.
a great character, great comedian, great
Real
friend.
good character.
But he used to drive these cars. He'd have a used car lot, and there was one car that was sold. He was supposed to be delivering it. He stopped off. We met up, started drinking on the South Shore in Massachusetts. And this person had already bought the car, so essentially he's in a stolen car.
Yeah.
We're drinking all night. We go to the strip club. We get in. I'm like, their ATM is like a $5 charge. I'm like, I'm not gonna pay $5. I was like, Tom, take me to the ATM across the street. And he's like, I'm not leaving. We just got here.
Yeah.
He's like, take the keys. I'm like 21, shit-faced. I pull out of the parking lot, bottom the car out on a sidewalk.
Yeah.
I look back, and there's pieces literally flying out the back. It's like, "Gagoosh." I drive across the street, pull up to the ATM machine, hit it.
Oh, boy.
Bang! Hit it. The front of the car's all scuffed. I back up like a 3-point turn and pull back in, use the ATM. It's like a drive-up ATM.
Oh, boy.
Drive back over, give him back the keys. And so this person got a car all banged up because we were out drinking and driving in this car. This poor person has no idea that 2 asshole comedians were just drinking and driving in her car.
Wait a minute. Did she ever say anything?
No, I don't know. She was like a drug addict,
Oh,
actually.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a perk.
She used to be a comedy club manager.
Ah.
Those were interesting times.
Yeah, I mean, I've had some bad drinking and driving. I'm sure I've told you these stories. Grew up in New Orleans. I used to have a Cutlass convertible, 1971. It was a beauty, and I would just drink and drive. It was like a tank. I remember one time I got hammered all day, and then I was driving home on the interstate, and I fell asleep, and I woke up and I was on the guardrail, like, this is an interstate, like it's like 3 stories up,
Right.
And I was on the guardrail, and my 2 left wheels were over the rail.
Oh,
so
wow.
the rail is like in the middle of the bottom of the car.
Wow.
Like a skateboard move.
Right.
And I woke up and I was like, ah! 'Cause I was like sideways. And,
You were moving still?
Still moving. I was going like 60.
Wow.
Yeah. I was the fall asleep while driving guy. That was my thing.
Wow.
Not a
that's
great thing.
Yeah, that's a bummer of a guy.
Yeah, one time I remember I fell asleep driving to Baton Rouge, 66 miles away. I saw the sign. I fell asleep. I woke up. It said 4 miles.
Wow.
Yeah. So I woke up. I was on the guardrail. I pull off. I'm freaking out. I just stop the car in the middle of the interstate. I'm just freaking out. Like, oh my God, I almost drove off the interstate. It's crazy. And so both my tires are on the rim. The rubber is gone. Just completely
Wow.
gone. So I had to call a friend. It's like 5 a.m. This is a good friend. He came out, found me. He's like, your rims are both shot. And I was like, I can't bring this car to my house. I lived at home. And my friend's like, all right, well, we got to go to a junkyard. We drove out like an hour out. By this time, it's like 6 a.m. that we waited for the junkyards to open. We got like a egg sandwich, sat in the car. Junkyard open. We're like, do you have a 71 Cutlass rim? Oh, I don't know. He had one. Found one. I remember it was bright red. We had to put that on my car. And then we went to another junkyard, found another one. So I had a red rim and a copper rim on my car. And my dad was like, what the hell is this? I was like, kids. These crazy kids. They're spray painting. And I got away with it. But
Wow.
yeah. Those were crazy times.
Now, do you remember where the seeds of your ability to lie started?
Yes.
Real young, 3, 4, or later?
It was probably about 5, 6, 7, because my parents asked so many questions that
Right.
eventually you just have to start lying so they'll stop.
Right, right.
And I think that's where it came from. My parents just, what happened here? Then what happened? Then what'd you do? Well, how's this going? What's up with this? And about stupid shit too. Like let's say you're sick, and my dad goes, "Hey, how you feeling?" You go, "I'm still sick." 20 minutes later, go, "Feeling any better?" "No, I'm still sick." So eventually you go, "Yeah, I'm 100%, fucker.
Wow.
Stop talking to me."
Wow. See, I wonder if I have because I have no ability to lie.
Yeah.
Can't lie. And my parents never asked me any questions. So maybe
Interesting.
there's something there. Maybe we've just figured a thing out.
Yeah, maybe.
A couple of doctors.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it was just literally question after question. How's school going? Actually, I got a C on this math test. Next day, how's that C going? It's going great. I pulled it up to an A. Then they leave me alone.
Wow. See, yeah, my parents never really asked me any questions. I actually failed off the track team my freshman year because I failed. We only had 4 classes. We had like block scheduling, and you could only fail 1 class, and I failed 2. One of them was Intro to Computers. I really was a terrible student. I didn't care.
Uh-huh.
And the other one was like a math class or whatever. And I got kicked off the track team. My parents apologized to me because
Wow.
they were like, instead of being mad at me, they were like, "Oh, we're sorry, we weren't paying attention to you. We should have been asking more questions, staying on you about this stuff."
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, they're right. That's kind of true, but
Yeah, really. So it was interesting.
that is it. Boy, that must have been kind of luxurious, though. Just coming home and watching TV.
Yeah, but there was no discipline. Like there's no structure. So now
Right,
I'm like
right.
lazy and coddled, and
Right,
now
yeah.
it set me back. I think because I could just do
Yeah.
whatever I wanted to or whatever. But
Yeah, I had a lot of structure, and it was annoying, but I guess it does pay off.
it's funny that we both sort of ended up in the same place, though.
Well, I think what I'm lacking, you have, and what you lack, I have. So we kind of
right.
yin and yang into each other.
Right.
That's why you're black.
That's why that's why my penis is so much bigger than yours.
There you go. All that extra skin I'm losing, you got it.
Yeah, I got a yang and you got a yin.
Well, either way, we're both Asian.
Oh boy. So what, Marcus? Tell me what you did this weekend.
Tuesdays with stories. I've got some stories, my friend.
Yeah, we've already told 8 of them.
Yeah, wow, that's true. But this is all what happened this weekend. On Friday night, I did a college, St. Lawrence University, Canton, New York, and boy, what a great school! 7-hour drive. I left my house at 10 a.m. Got a zip car. Love zip car, by the way.
What are we talking north and then west, or due north? Where are we going? Are you near Canada?
It is near Canada. It's about an
Okay.
hour from Canada. And I had to go through Pennsylvania at one point, Jersey, and then I'm up there. But boy, this is the real backwoods, baby. You go through the Adirondacks. That was beautiful scenery. The drive up was great. And finally get there. It's this town that has nothing but the college, really. And it's just people sitting on their porch, rocking chairs, chewing on a weed. And, they're all looking at you funny. And, having a great time on the drive up. Music, good times, rental car, wind in my hair. Get to the college. Beautiful. I love colleges. They're just like this oasis in the middle of hell. It's people who are trying to better their lives. They're trying to learn. They're all reading books and shit. They're young. They're full of hope. I love colleges. So we get there and beautiful campus. Get to the student hall, student union. All the kids there are very attractive. There's a cool cafeteria. There's a great system where you would write down what you wanted and just put it in a bin, and they would pick it up and make whatever you wanted.
Wow.
It was crazy. Yeah, it looked like a very expensive school and everything.
Wow. Can you write down more attractive girlfriend?
Hey-o! I had a joke during my set. I did an hour, and at one point I was like, "How about that cafeteria? You can just write in it." I wrote down a swastika. They made me a quesadilla. That hit. I guess because it was local.
I think I only half get it.
This doesn't make sense.
Oh, okay.
At all, but they loved it.
Then I whole get it.
Yeah. So yeah, the whole thing was run by a comic, so he knew what to do. He knew how to set it up. He did 10 minutes up top. It was perfect. He told everybody to shut up, don't heckle. Place was packed, probably 300 kids in there, and did my time and got out and got some nice tweets about it. Got a write up in the paper. Don't you love that?
The school paper?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
I love
nice.
that.
Yeah. I was at Yale yesterday, and I agreed. All these schools are so great.
Yeah.
And you said oasis in the middle of hell. Yale is in New Haven, which is like a dump of a city.
Hate New Haven.
It's horrible. And then Yale is like this most spectacular school, the third oldest college in America, and there's like this old Gothic architecture. It's spectacular. And then you walk a block away, and you're in like hell.
Yeah, it's funny how schools will keep a whole town alive.
Yeah.
It's a college town.
Right. Yeah. Well, some of those colleges like Madison and Columbus are college towns, but there's also the capital of the state. There's other stuff happening.
Right.
But there's like schools, like you go to State College, Pennsylvania. That's Penn State. That's the school. Like,
that's it.
Those are always interesting.
Every home has a Penn State flag. It's Penn State flag on the porch. Yeah,
It's
license plates.
It's interesting. I love it. I like hearing those things where the population, like in Columbus, I don't know the numbers, but like in the summertime, the population is like a fraction. They lose like 30% of their population because all the kids go home.
Oh, wow.
So it's like a tourist area that fluctuates.
I wouldn't like to live there. I want a city.
Well, Columbus is a great city.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
But I don't want the college to be the basis of my population.
Right.
Well, so here's the shitty part. Had a great show, great set, got paid. The guy goes, "Oh, here's your meal ticket." He gives you an extra meal ticket, and you can just go grocery shopping in their little cafeteria.
Wow.
So you get I got some ice cream, I got milk, I got cereal, some cold cuts.
How much is the ticket worth?
It's unlimited.
What?
Yeah. So I got I'm walking out with 4 Gatorades, beef jerky. It was great.
You went Gatorade, huh?
It's a long drive.
What? It's not the cereal. Cereal's like $8 a box.
I got the cereal.
But did you get multiples? I'm confused. Is it like BJ's? Can you just get like stacks?
No, it was like a
of
Quickie
shit?
Mart kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
So there was,
I see.
there wasn't a lot of options.
Right.
It wasn't like a butcher.
I'm just picturing TVs under your arm and a couch.
Did some looting.
But
But here's the catch: 7-hour drive back.
Yeah, we talked a little bit off air.
Yeah,
you got to look into that stuff. You got to take the hotel, baby.
I sucked it up. I had a hotel. They gave me the hotel, and I was like, I'm driving back, baby.
What, you didn't want to get some beers, maybe pull in a nice college honey and
Nah, I thought about
business?
it. Boy, they were a couple honeys.
Show her what the 30s are all about.
Yeah, well,
The decade, not the whatever. All right.
not the time period. Great Depression, here it comes. Yeah, but I just said, fuck it, 7 hours. And boy, I'll tell you, after the second hour, you're like, come on! You're just watching the clock creep by. It was raining. It was raining.
Yeah,
I'm driving in
raining
the rain.
stuff. I got so many. I'm driving to Ohio tomorrow. Those 8, 9 hours, 7 hours trips. Especially in the middle of the night because the car is so sleep conducive.
Yes.
It's
sister.
vibrating and it's comfy and it's dark.
There's soft music playing.
Yeah.
My pants are off.
Hard.
Yeah.
I find a lot of times I'll pull over and do a 20-minute power.
Is that right?
Cat nap. Yeah, you got to do it. 20 minutes is good. because that'll refresh you for a while. And I don't drink coffee, so
I don't either.
Soda, like that great scene in Dumb and Dumber with Jeff Daniels just slapping the shit out of
I
himself
was doing that, yeah.
in the face, and
It's so you're right. It's so because you're seeing the same thing over and over, so it's very like hypnotic.
Yeah,
almost.
and
All
it's
those
that-
lines going by. Yeah.
that thing. It's crazy.
I should have done the nap because I got home at about 5, and boy, I fell asleep like 4 times on the way, just like nodding off.
Yeah, it's
And
fucking dangerous, man.
terrifying. Yeah,
You got to be careful of that because then you die that way.
Yes,
And then it's like, oh man, you had this great show, great
Right,
life,
right.
and then you're like the punchline. How did he die? Oh, he fell asleep.
Ah,
And then they're just dumb jokes about
Yeah.
Rip Van Norman or whatever.
Right. The
Yeah,
things you
well-
do to stay up are embarrassing too. I stick my head out the window like a dog. I'm like screaming at full volume, slapping myself, jerking off, everything.
I was gonna ask you, literally, did you jerk off?
I did.
I jerk off in the car more often than people that
Wanna
I
know?
should admit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do it on like a ride to get milk. A couple
Really?
3 blocks.
Wow.
Not really, but Boston, New York, I'll jerk off sometimes twice. I do it less now because again, I don't want to die
Yeah.
from jerking off. But
No,
yeah, I've
totally.
masturbated in the car quite a bit, and you gotta like when a truck comes, you put your T-shirt over your
Yeah,
boner.
yeah.
And,
Well, it's also funny when you're jerking off, like when you're right in the middle of it, you're like, ah, shit, I'm going 28.
yeah,
You're on
you're
the highway.
You got to make sure there's no cars next. It's very
Yeah,
strategic.
exactly.
So sometimes I'm doing 105 miles an hour trying to get because it's like all of a sudden there's a bunch of cars,
Right.
or you hit like a traffic jam, but I'm already into the groove of I can't stop now. I'm gonna
Yeah.
have blue balls.
Must
and then,
be. That's why the truckers, they got it good. You can't see what they're doing.
right. So one time I was jerking off and we hit traffic all of a sudden, and then my buddy in the passenger seat is like, "Hey, dude, you gotta cut it out."
Yeah.
That was supposed to be a joke. Someone was in the passenger seat.
Oh, I
really,
believed it.
really fell apart there. I really
Sorry.
crumbled.
But yeah, so what? You were in the hospital this weekend.
Yeah, I was in the hospital. That reminds me of because we were talking about stupid ways to die. We had I went home. I took sort of the weekend off. Friday, I did my one-man show, which was fun, and we did it at the Creek. There was 4 people who are friends of mine, which is always weird, just telling stories to people that you know. I guess we're doing that right now in a way. Well, we don't know the people. Hopefully.
No, hopefully not.
Um,
We want to make new friends.
That sounds insulting. So anyways, I do my one show, and then I drive up to Boston Saturday, big family party. It's my cousin's 13th birthday, and we're all playing football in the front yard, and my father, first play from scrimmage, smashes his finger between 2 rocks. We're all wrestling. He's wrestling a 5-year-old. The 5-year-old comes up crying. Everyone runs to him, Declan, like, oh my God, Declan, I hope you're all right, because he's crying. My father, meanwhile, his finger is crushed. Completely crushed. It's pouring blood, and like he tries to be funny.
Blood?
Oh yeah, he cut it open on his wedding ring.
Oh.
Cuts his finger open, and then like we had all this like pink ribbon for whatever reason. He's like, here. He goes to one of the kids. He's like, tie that up. I'm bleeding over here.
Yeah.
And we're like, I wonder why he's bleeding. Whatever. Don't think anything of it. My dad's really quiet. All of a sudden, he just disappears. Drives himself to the hospital down the street.
Wow,
This is the hospital he
interesting.
works at, actually. And so everyone's like, he drove himself to the hospital. That's weird. That's crazy. We get a call like an hour later. He calls my mother. It's like, you guys, you got to come here. He's like, they might have to do surgery. They had to cut his wedding band off.
What?
He hasn't taken it off in 36 years.
Holy
Never taken his ring off. They had to
moly.
cut it out. My mother's emotional. It's a whole thing.
Wow.
I went in the hospital. He's been in there for like 3 hours. My mother and I show up. I had to drive because I'm the only one not drinking. So my mother's hammered. He's hammered. We go in there, and he's sitting there, agony. The doctor, it's time to put his finger like back into place.
Oh boy.
And they're poking him with the needle, and they're like, this is going to hurt. It's like, he's like in agony. My dad's like, and trying to be like tough.
Yeah.
My mother's holding his hand. I never really talked to my dad too much. I'm like holding his leg.
Yeah.
His leg's shaking. He has panic disorder like I do.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like it's interesting because I'm like, oh, he's just like me. He's freaking out. His muscles are shaking. He looks like he has, Parkinson's or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Which he might, maybe. I don't know. And then the doctor puts his finger back into place. I'm like squeezing his leg. I'm like, look at me. You're right here with me, baby. You're
Whoa.
breathing. And it was quite a bonding moment.
Yeah.
The Buddhist said you need suffering to have happiness. And
Yeah.
it sort of was like this enjoyable bonding moment for me, even though my dad's finger is crushed.
Interesting.
So they put his finger back into place. I'm cracking jokes. I'm getting some laughs. I'm making the doctor laugh.
There you go.
I got a couple laughs from my dad, but you could tell he was miserable experience. And I took some pictures of it. He's bleeding everywhere, and
Ooh.
they had to give him a tetanus shot. I watched that. It's
Woo.
easier to watch stuff when it's not.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be freaking out, but it was scary because I was like, "This is." I was like, "We got to get healthy here," because you're in the hospital and you're like, "This is where we're all gonna end up." It's kind of scary. You're like, "Oh."
Yeah, that is
So it makes
true.
me want to take care of myself. I got to eat some salad.
Right, like Who has that great joke about how it's weird that we make fun of old people because we hope to be that one day?
I don't know.
I think it's Norm Macdonald. Like, why does everyone make fun of old people? Like, you'd be lucky if you got to that age.
Right.
It's a weird thing.
Yeah, I always thought that was weird with, like, Dennis Leary does the joke about smoking, and he's like, it takes 10 years off your life, and he's like, yeah, but it's the years at the end. And you're like, well, no, those years just come earlier.
Yeah,
you
right.
still fucking die. You're just doing it in your 50s instead of your 60s or whatever.
Yeah, he's not a great guy.
Or 80s. No, but...
that is cool, though. You bonded with
yeah,
Dad.
so anyway, then we had to go. We went back to my house, my parents' house, and we started watching we watched the football game until like 2 a.m. Me, my mother, my dad. It was ended up being this beautiful bonding thing. I mean, that's my life, is sitting up watching football by myself and being on the road. And I had my folks there, and we're cracking jokes, and
wow,
he's all Viking it up. He had a little whiskey, and but he's miserable now. His finger's all fucked up and in pain, and
it'll heal.
But I have a lot of emergency room experience.
Really?
Yeah, I'm the guy that takes people to the emergency room.
Oh, that's a good guy. Good to have around.
One time during the Boston Comedy Festival, we had a big party. This is years ago. A big party at Victor Vernado at a hotel that had like a ceiling. Not a ceiling. What's the opposite of a ceiling?
Floor?
Nope. Roof.
Not
the opposite. The other side.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
One man's ceiling is another man's floor.
Is that Nietzsche?
I think Paul Simon. Paul Simon Nietzsche. So anyways, we had this big party, and Bulger's drunk. We're all drunk, and Bulger, his shoes are tied together or something crazy, and he's running around, trips, falls, smashes his face on the ground. Everyone runs. Everyone's like laughing. Oh, you all right? And I'm like, that's fucking trouble.
Yeah.
Like, I saw it happen. And everyone just looked at it. Having this great party. There's like 40 comics there. Everyone's having a blast. So they come over, everyone's like, you're fine, you're fine. And I look at it, I'm like, move your hand. There's blood squirting out of his chin, just gashed open. And everyone wants to keep the party going.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, yeah, let's keep, just put a little tape on there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Dan, you got to go to the hospital. He's like, you serious? I'm like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
There's blood squirting out of your face. So he's like, all right. So we go to the hospital. He's shit-faced. And like 5 people keep showing up at the waiting room. We're having like a party in the waiting room. Everyone's like... Everyone's drunk and beat up. There's all these people like dying and throwing up, and we're just having a blast. We're yucking it up. And so I went to the room with him. He had to get stitches on his face, like 15 stitches in his chin. And
wow.
We sat there. We're all cracking jokes, making the doctor laugh. And I got him to give me the super finger. Remember Dane Cook's thing?
Yeah.
And he's all bandaged up, getting stitched, and he's given the super finger. We're going to try to get it on Dane's website.
Oh, nice.
Never,
it's good to have the hospital driver guy, and nice that you're not drinking.
Now I'm not drinking. Then when I did it, then I was drunk driving him to the hospital. I was like, I got to be responsible and get you to the hospital. Stat. Meanwhile, I'm 38 beers in.
Yeah.
And then I also brought my friend Alvin David, another great comic, to the
guy.
hospital. We're playing softball. He slides into second, smashes his face, and he gets up, and everyone's like, same thing. Everyone's like, you're all right. I think you're fine. And then blood starts squirting out of his nose. And I go, you got to go to the hospital, Alvin. And he goes, why? I go, because your nose is bleeding. He goes, so what? And I go, well, you didn't hit your nose. He hits the side of his face, and his nose bleeds.
That's a good
That's
point.
a bad sign.
Yeah.
That means blood is finding a way to escape out of your face.
Right.
Like if you get punched in the nose and your nose bleeds, whatever. But if you hit a different part of your body and blood comes out of that part of your body, you're fucked.
Like if
you get there,
if you get kicked in the ass and your dick starts bleeding,
you
got problems.
Yeah, that's bad news.
Yeah.
So we went to the hospital that time, and his whole face had caved in. He cracked his fucking cheekbone.
How does he not know this is happening?
Oh, you're drunk. We're all
he's
drunk
drinking.
and on drugs. Everyone's drunk and on drugs.
Yeah.
So you don't feel the pain as much.
Isn't it funny when you hit that age where drugs come into your life, you're like, oh, this is drugs.
Yeah,
you know, because you picture needles and crazy shit, but then you're like, oh, it's just pills and weed. Like, we're doing all this stuff everyone told us not to do.
Right. It's quite enjoyable, really.
It's a good time.
Now, you were a skateboarder and a drunk
and
a sleeper in the car. You must have some emergency room experience.
Oh, boy, I got a ton. I mean, geez, I remember one time, this is just being a kid. It was raining, and I ran down a slide just to be a fun daredevil.
Yeah, you're that kind of guy.
Yeah, I ran down the slide, and I just slipped on the end, went straight up, landed on my back, passed out, woke up and pissed on myself.
Wow.
And woke up in the emergency room.
Wow. Did you slip a disc or wrench a disc or dislocate a disc?
I think I threw a rod. No, I'm not sure what it was. I think I just got knocked because the back of my head hit the slide. Metal slide.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't a back thing. It was a head thing.
No, but I was in a wheelchair for like 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's fun.
it's like an 8-year-old in a wheelchair. It was crazy.
Yeah, I remember I was I cut my knee open and had to get stitches and was in a wheelchair for like 3 days and it was fun.
Yeah,
Remember, like, everyone would run you around doing
Yes.
wheelies and you'd take the elevator.
Right.
It was the first time you realized there was an elevator in school. It was
Yeah.
bizarre. You're like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah. We used to hook up in the elevator in high school.
Really?
Yeah, there was all these carvings on the wall. It was good times.
Not Mark and I.
No.
We as in the proverbial we.
Yeah.
I don't know what a proverb is.
I don't either.
Great.
It's biblical.
I think proverbial is one of those words that I use that I have no idea what it means. There's several.
I got a lot of those.
Yeah. Up
That's-
until recently, digress was one.
Yeah.
And then I figured out what it meant, and now I use it all the time.
It means like to go off on something else.
We're digressing right now.
A tangent, if
Yeah.
you will. Yeah. How about necessarily? Not necessarily.
Well, that's not necessary.
Well, that's an easy one.
Yeah.
All right. What about technically?
That's a weird one not to know.
Technically is a big one. Technically, this water is good for you.
Yeah, that's technical, I guess.
What is that technical? I
Well,
thought
that's
technical
a
was a
weird
kind
way
of
to
college.
use it. It is, and it's where you go to learn how to say technically.
Right. That's the whole thing.
You get a little hat and an owl to use technically.
Yeah.
And then be like, that doesn't make sense. Technically, I went to technically tech.
Yeah. It's a lot of tech. I think people just throw it around, though.
Right. There's a lot of words that irreverent is a word that I feel like is used that people don't know what it means.
Irrelevant,
No, irreverent.
meaning against God.
No, irreverent humor. I don't think
think-
that means against God.
Well,
though.
reverent means God.
Is that right?
He's very reverent.
Hmm.
Oh, boy.
Well,
Call
our
us.
producer is shaking his head no.
What do you think, Aaron? All right, he just flicked me off.
All right, yeah.
Just call in if you know what it
He
means.
just lit a cross on fire.
Yeah.
So it's very irreverent.
Very irreverent.
But irreverent means like, we're yelling
Crass?
faggot and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Irreverent?
that's what reverent means. So
Oh.
irreverent means disrespectful, like saying faggot and stuff.
So reverent is respectful.
Yeah, but I never
right.
hear reverent being used. I only hear irreverent.
Yeah,
used.
yeah. It's kind of like overwhelmed. You never hear whelmed.
Yeah, exactly.
Or underwhelmed.
You hear underwhelmed occasionally.
Yeah, but you don't hear whelmed.
Yeah, you can't be whelmed.
I think I'm whelmed right now.
I guess we're whelmed.
We're whelmed.
Yeah, for sure. Now,
All
wait,
right.
what was I going to say? You had...
I had another hospital story.
Yeah,
and
you
I'm
must have a
blanking
few.
on it now.
I have 3 hospitals all hit in the eye with a baseball.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Jeez.
One time I was covering home plate. I was pitching. I threw a wild pitch and was covering home, and the guy slid across home plate. And then I was like, damn, he's safe. And I looked up, and the catcher threw the ball, hit me in the eye.
Ooh.
And then another time...
no catcher's mask.
No, I was a pitcher.
Oh, you were the pitcher.
Yeah, he was the catcher.
I see.
This got gay. And
You
another
were
time...
the bottom.
Everyone's playing pickle in my front yard. I get home from baseball practice. I was like, I just get out of the car. I was pumped.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm playing. I couldn't wait, and then the ball whipped me right in the eye,
Ooh.
directly in the eye.
And you know what sucks about that is it hurts, but there's also an embarrassment factor.
Yeah.
You know, because you're like, it's kind of like when you run into a glass door. You're
Yeah.
like, God, my nose is bleeding, but everyone's laughing at me too. So you
Yeah,
got to
the
deal with both of those.
Yeah, the embarrassment is where you get physical and emotional pain
Yeah,
at the
right.
same time.
Here's one. When we first moved into my new house, my dad got like a wild hair up his ass and bought this fixer-upper in the middle of Tremay in New Orleans. And so I'm this kid running around this unfinished house, and the floorboards weren't down yet, but the 2x4s were down.
Oh, okay.
See what I'm saying? So it would be just like every 2 feet was a 2x4.
Right.
And there was like a 5-foot drop before the ground.
Oh, wow.
It was a big house. And so I was a kid, and I was jumped from one 2x4 to the other.
Mm-hmm.
I was like 3 feet tall, and then I'm jumping, whoa, up, jump to the next one. Hey,
Sure.
that was
It's
close.
like Frogger.
Yeah. And then I got to the last one, and I missed, and I didn't jump far enough, and I caught the chin.
Oh.
So I just
jeez.
feet not even hitting the ground yet, chin just head back, had to get stitches.
Right on the button, they call
Yes,
it.
the button.
Yeah.
Boy, that chin, it really is
It's the button.
yeah.
It'll knock you right out.
It's weird.
That's why you got to protect it in a fight.
Why is it the chin? You'd think the nose or
I
the
don't know.
eye or the teeth. but
There's
the
probably a technical reason that
I'm
we
sure
don't
there
know.
is.
But
chin. Irreverent.
oh boy, I just had. Oh, what happened? That reminded me. You're the finished floor not finished. I didn't know. I think a lot of people have this story. Maybe you do. We're similar personalities. I feel like. I didn't know that they slick up a bowling lane.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and there's like a group of girls, like one of those early, like sophomore year in high school, where you have an intergender hang happening. And
Oh,
there's
yeah.
like cool kid. I was friends with the cool kids. and,
Uh-huh.
I was not a cool kid, but I was friends with them at this point.
Interesting.
And I was like, I'm going to run down the alley and dive through the pins.
That's
It'll
a classic gag.
Cartoon
Classic.
gig. And I had no idea. Like, those things are slipperier than ice.
Is that right?
Yeah, those bowling, like, that's how the ball fucking spins in the business. It's crazy. You can't go on there. It's like it's dangerous. And I ran full speed.
Woo!
One step, I slipped backwards. I was like, what? And then the second one went, whoop! And like straight up in the air.
Oh, boy.
Like a cartoon, like all 4 limbs wagging. And about 4 feet straight down, like bang!
Wow.
And right on my tailbone and like shot up my back. It was the most painful thing. Like, it was the most painful thing I've ever experienced. But like, I know everyone's just dying laughing. And some people are confused. But like, there's girls there. And this is when you first started really masturbating, but not talking to girls.
Yeah.
And, it was just the worst.
So, did you get hurt?
I had to like crawl up, and I was like, pretending to laugh, and I'm bruised, and like my whole rib cage just shook.
Oh boy!
So I had to just like limp and be in agony, and I was like, oh god, and just the most I think people took pity on me because they could see how embarrassed I was.
Right. It's funny because you're so embarrassed that you deal with the pain.
Yeah,
you know, you're like, I'll just walk it out. But if you were alone, you would lay there for 3 days. You know?
I hope if I ever get cancer, it's embarrassing somehow. You know?
Then you can walk it off.
Yeah, I get it. While slipping in dog shit.
Right.
Right.
Ah,
jeez. And then it won't, I won't notice that my pancreas is imploding.
Well, how embarrassing would it be to actually get injured from slipping on a banana peel? That would be brutal. No one could take it seriously.
Yeah, they've been doing a good job cleaning up banana peels.
That's true.
When
you don't
we were
see
kids,
them.
they were everywhere.
Yeah.
But,
well, I don't know about that.
Well, you heard about them everywhere in the movies and whatnot.
You living in Mario Kart?
Yeah, it's just I thought it was going to be a big issue, banana peels, but never stepped on a banana peel.
No,
once
never
in my life.
And if I did step on it, I think I'd be all right.
I don't know.
Because
it seems like they have the 4 points of slippery.
That's true. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Right. All right. Try it at home. Call in.
Did I tell this story before on the podcast about? I think I might have. We were playing Little League, and the kid hit a home run, and I had to hop the fence.
No, I don't know.
I told it on a different podcast. A kid like hit a home run at our ballpark. It was like a Saturday afternoon, and I hope I didn't tell it on this podcast. But anyways, this kid hit a home run, and I had to climb the fence. For some reason, I thought it was my responsibility to go get the ball, even though I was in the game.
Right.
Like, it's a dead ball. It's a home run. Like, we have other balls, but like I just immediately was like, I should hop the fence and get the ball.
That's a good man.
Hopped the fence, grabbed the ball, threw it back in. Everyone's already like, why are you going to get the ball? There's hundreds of people here.
Right.
I'm going to hop the fence back over to continue the game. My shoelace gets caught on the top of the fence.
Oh, God.
I fall straight down, hit my head on the grass, and my shoelace is still caught. So I'm perfectly inverted with my cleats stuck to the fence.
Wow.
And the whole town, there's like 300 people just standing there laughing. And I'm trying to wriggle off the fence. Center fielder had to come over and let me off. It was a solid 40 seconds of just being hung upside down. I think it still is in me.
I've got one that I don't know how I've not told on this podcast. This could be the closer. So.
I hope not.
All right.
We got a lot more time.
Oh, do we?
Well, I don't know.
I'll make it quick.
We gotta get to a tell.
Oh, gee, sorry, Dave. So this is college. I'm hammered. You know when you were in college, you were drunk. Did you go to college?
No, I went to zero college.
Ah, shit. Well, in college,
I understand that it's a thing.
All right. It's a big campus, and you're just walking around. You're always just hammered walking around. And there's like a lot of stuff. There's like a parade over here. There's a football game over here. There's a party over here. So I was just drunk. It's like 2 a.m. I'm walking around. And I just see a party at a condominium, and I go in it, and I'm just hammered, like blackout. And I start hitting on this girl. She was like a fat Puerto Rican chick, and she was into it, I think. And we're kind of making out and stuff. And this guy walks over and he goes, "Hey, that's my girlfriend." And I was like, "Hey, well, you better talk to her because she's freewheeling and making out with random dudes. I just met her." And he's like, "Fuck you, let's go outside." And I was like, "All right, let's go outside," because I was so hammered. And right when we get outside, he goes, "Timmy, Ricky, Kelly, Bobby." I don't know why Kelly is in there, but so these guys, like 4 guys stand behind him, and these are big, beefy, like Southern, khaki shorts, polo tucked in kind of guys, and these are meatheady dudes, and they're like, "All right, let's go." So I was like, "Yeah, let's do this." And the first guy takes his shirt off, so I go, "Ah, shit, that was a little scary." Right. So I just jumped the fence immediately. We're next to a fence in the backyard.
Got to.
Yeah, and It was one of those wrought iron black fences with the spikes on the top.
Oh, wow.
And so I jump the fence. I get one leg over, and I just kind of saddle it like a horse, like you ride a horse.
Jesus.
And then I just fall over the other side, and I'm hanging by my pants. They're all dying laughing. Everybody at the party's laughing at me. I'm hanging by my pants. Eventually, I'm looking at the ground, and the pants just rip. And I hit the ground head first, and I run off. So I run home. I'm, like, embarrassed. I'm probably tearing up a little bit. It was horrifying. And I wake up to my alarm beeping. And I had worked that day. I worked at a restaurant. And I was like, oh, my God. I, like, snap into focus. I'm hungover out of my mind. I was like, what the fuck was that? Holy shit. And I look down. My pants are ripped. There's blood everywhere. I go in the bathroom. I notice my sack is torn.
Oh,
I never told you this?
I think you did.
Yeah, tore the sack wide open.
Wow. Anything fall out?
Well, it's all connected, thank God.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. But, I mean, you could have disconnected.
That's true, but I didn't, thank the Lord. But my sack was black because
Wow.
the skin had died or
Black
something.
sack.
Black sack.
That was a scandal in 1918.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. All my friends are still asleep. I lived in a house with like 5 guys. I just went to work. I just put my uniform and went. And I'm like, waddling around because I don't want my sack to hit my legs. It was in so much pain.
Jesus.
And so I'm waiting on tables. I'm
With a
waiting
black
tables
sack.
with a black sack, and I'm going in the bathroom every now and then to look at it. I'm like, what am I? I could see a nut. I saw a nut.
Wow.
Looks like a peach pit for those at home.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That sounds like an R.L. Stein novel. The Black Sack Waiter.
Yeah. So eventually I tell my boss, I was like, dude, I'm in a world of trouble here. And he goes, oh, no, you're not getting out of work this time. Because I was always trying to get off.
The boy that cried testicle.
Exactly. And I was like, look, his name was John. I was like, Johnny, this is serious, man. You got to help me out here. And he's like, no, you got 4 tables. Get over there. Those fajitas aren't going to serve themselves and whatnot. It was a Mexican joint. I should have said it was a pasta place. I don't know why we had fajitas. But so I was eventually like, all right, come on in here. He's holding a clipboard. He's like doing inventory. I was like, come in the bathroom with me. So I just dropped trow and I show him, and he was like, ah! He's just like, go to the hospital. What are you doing here, you crazy bastard? So I just ran out. He's like, I'll get somebody to take your tables, whatever you want. Just go to the hospital. So I drove to the hospital, waited there in emergency for 3 hours, fell asleep, woke up.
I think you're narcoleptic.
Wow, I think it was the booze, everything.
Right.
I woke up, finally some guy shaking me like, all right, we're ready for you. Very embarrassing, All right, what's the problem today, Mr. Norman? Good clean-cut doctor. I was like, well, I tore my sack. And he was like, oh my God. So, yeah.
Well, here's what I don't get. Are you in agony?
Surprisingly not.
So it's probably just a skin
It was a skin
thing.
tear, so I was
it's just
okay.
It's just a regular cut, but in a weird spot.
Place. And your ball skin is surprisingly tough. It's like your elbow.
Oh yeah,
kind of.
yeah.
You can mush it up and
Yeah,
stuff.
of course. I spend my day mushing up my ball skin.
It's a good time.
My hobby.
It's the real American pastime.
I cut my sack one time on my bike. I was
really?
riding. I don't think it hit the chain or something, but I was a kid and it fell. And it was like that scene in Stand By Me where he puts his hand down his panties and pulls it out and there's a leach.
Oh,
There was no leech, but there was blood. And I was
right.
like, ah.
Right.
And I remember having to like tell my parents, and it was scary. It was like I feel like I can relate to a girl getting her first period.
Yeah.
Because I was like, Mom, Dad, I gotta tell you something. I'm bleeding out of the genitals.
Yeah. I'm spotting.
I didn't have any black experience.
Yeah.
That would be terrifying.
Well, here's the worst part. We get to the doctor, and the doctor's like, oh, boy, this is pretty bad. If you would have been an hour later, you would have lost a nut, yada, yada. They all tell you all that bullshit. He
Right.
told me I wouldn't walk again. I don't know what that means. So then he's like...
maybe you would have been so sad. You never would have left the house.
Right. So he goes, we're going to have to shoot you up with Novocaine and then sew it up. And I was like, great, just knock me out and sew that puppy up. I'll be on my way. And he's like, no, you have to be awake for this for the anesthesia reasons.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, my God. So he gets out a huge needle. There's like a hot nurse. She's like holding the sack, and he puts the needle in, pumps the Novocaine in. That was hell.
Oh.
And then he's like, all right, she's going to sew you up, or, So somebody sewed me up. And then I remember the hottest nurse I've ever seen put Neosporin on the stitches. And they're like, okay, you're going to have to wear a jockstrap for a month.
Wow.
And,
it's like a dog with those collars.
Yeah. My dick was wearing a collar. And she's like, you got to come back in a month and we'll get the stitches out. So I was like, Jesus. So I had to.
And that hurts too, getting stitches out.
Yeah, that wasn't
They pull
pretty
them
either.
out.
I still have a scar. Every now and then I'll be in the shower like, what's that? Oh, yeah, scar.
Wow. How old are you then?
I was probably 19, 20.
Yowzer. Boy, the things we do for love.
I know.
Don't you wish?
I love that Puerto Rican chick.
I used to always feel this way when I was a kid, and I would ask, Do you wish I wish I could be knocked out for every doctor and dentist
Oh,
appointment, even my
easily.
haircut.
Yeah.
I would like to be gassed for my haircut.
Yeah.
Just let me wake up and it's all done.
Right.
A filling, a cleaning, whatever, a checkup,
A
weighing
facial.
me. Just pick me up and put me on the scale while
Yeah.
I'm sleeping.
How about a baby shower? Just knock me out.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
be there.
exactly.
I'll give you a gift.
Appendix and tonsils I was knocked out for. That's it. Everything else they want you awake for. It's-
Why is that?
I don't
What, do
know.
you want me to talk to you?
I gotta get stitches on my knee. And you have to hear things.
Ugh.
I hated the whole thing.
Love being knocked out. What a gift.
Right.
Anesthesia is a great thing.
Yeah. It's great to just wake up and be like, oh, that happened?
Yeah.
Great. I
love
appreciate
that.
it.
Right. That's why
get,
wet dreams are fun.
You ever have any surgeries?
Yeah. Yeah, I had the 4 wisdom teeth pulled. Does that count?
Fuck yeah. That's
Okay,
a surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Four of those bad boys.
They knock you out for that.
Oh, boy, did they.
Yeah.
That was brutal.
I had the appendix taken out
Oh,
not too long ago.
That's a pretty penny.
Appendicitis. Yeah. I'm still owed money for that one.
Is that right?
I think so. I got a good break because I technically my address is in Massachusetts, and it was a life-threatening illness.
Yeah.
So like it was like a necessary surgery or whatever. I could have died.
I got bed bugs in like an 09.
That's not a surgery. As far
I know,
as I
but I didn't know what it was,
Oh,
so
I
I
see.
went to the doctor because I had all these spots on me. I went to the doctor, and I was like, "Yeah, I think I got AIDS. I got something."
Right.
And he was like, "No, these look like bites." And I was like, "There's no bugs in my house, baby. This is chlamydia."
Right.
Even though it was all over my neck and hands.
Yeah.
And he was like, "I'm telling you, these are bug bites." I was like, "How would I not know I'm getting bitten? I was getting bitten in my sleep." And he's like, "Look, we'll do a biopsy, but you don't have insurance, so it's going to be really expensive." And I was like, "Do the biopsy. I'll tell you. I'm proving you wrong right now." Biopsy was like, $2,000.
Yeah.
And it was, bed bugs.
Yeah, it's scary. When I'm a comedian, so I just think my only health insurance I have is just the benefits. My friends will just do a comedy show and give me the money.
Is that right?
That's how I feel. If
Huh.
you get sick, I'm like, well, if I get really sick, we get some comics together, we do a show, we get a few grand.
Jeez, that's
That's
an
my health
interesting-
insurance
I've never
plan.
thought about that.
Yeah. That's what I was texting out when I had my appendicitis. I was like, you guys got to get a show together. I'm broke here. I'm dying.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good friends.
Well, nothing ever happened. We never
Ah.
did it, but
Well, there you go.
yeah, it was a bringer show.
You actually had to pay money.
Yeah. So now that we have a podcast with legions of fans, if one of us
Legions.
gets sick, we'll just ask for a donation.
Yeah.
At what point in the podcast do you start asking for donations? Because I eat a lot of Chipotle and I don't make too much money.
Right. I need an iPad.
Yeah, we need folks call in, send in some money, some Chipotle gift cards, and maybe an iPad. Let's go right to the source. Skip
Yeah.
the middleman.
I'll
Buy
take
Mark an iPad.
I'll take a 3. Don't have to be the newest one.
Oh, I don't know anything about the numbers.
I
in
think there's a
business.
4 now. Who knows?
jeez.
There's an S and a G and a Q.
I took the cue here.
Hey, I took the G. Didn't get me anywhere.
I only half get it again. Well,
Well, it doesn't come to this area.
oh, I see.
Yeah.
I got you. We're on the Upper West Side here at Stand Up New
Stand
York.
Up New York, best club in town, baby.
Stand Up New York, 78th and Broadway. Stand Up Labs is the what do we call it? Network.
Yeah, that works.
Stand Up Labs is the network. There's great shows. And thanks for listening. If you're listening, boy, we are so appreciative. Aren't we
Yeah.
grateful?
I hope you got some entertainment. Are we done?
I don't know.
How long have we been going there, Aaron?
We've been going for
51.
47 minutes here.
Oh, is it 47?
Well, -3, 48 minutes.
Ah. Well, you got one more story in you.
Well, I just wanted to say thanks, and then we're going to go back into stories.
Oh, great.
This is
All
how
right.
you got to do it.
I didn't want it to end.
Because otherwise, they'll sense it's ending. They won't even listen to our gratitude and everything.
Right. Good call.
I'm getting a text from my mother that says all better. It's a picture. It's an X-ray.
Of
oh
the-
my
of the
God.
finger?
X-ray of the finger.
Go to the website if you want to see the finger.
Wow, look at that.
Oh,
It looks-
wow.
Better, but boy, he's got these brittle bones.
How does a football do that?
It was a rock. She hit the rock.
Oh.
It was like all these stones. My mother was like, "Why the hell are you playing football in the front yard?" And I was like, "Everyone in America plays football in the front yard." And my mother's like, "I think that's the backyard."
Uh-huh.
And we were like, "Oh, good point."
Yeah.
My brother-in-law also ran in front of a car.
Woo.
Almost got hit by a car.
Yikes.
Like 3 feet. All the kids stopped running, and my brother-in-law just keeps going right in front of the car.
Oh, I got into a car accident on the last day of high school.
Oh, wow.
How much does that suck?
How bad was the accident?
It's pretty bad. We all got hammered the night before. You got to go to school at like 7:30, so we're all still pretty hammered. I'm driving my dad's Lexus.
Wow.
I pull out. You're a kid. You're on top of the world. Last day of school. Woo-wee. Pull out. without even looking out of a street onto a main street and just got clipped. And my friend was vomiting so bad from the booze that the ambulance came, and they're like, "We got to take him to the hospital." I'm like, "Don't take him. He's just drunk." They're like, "Look, he's vomiting. He can't even stand up." He's like, "He's just hammered. It's fine." So they took him, and it's like $500 just for that.
Wow, yeah, the ambulance ride's very expensive.
Yeah.
My last day of high school, graduation day, I sprained my ankle severely. It was sort of a microcosm for the rest of my life. Playing volleyball at my graduation party, listening to Honky Tonk Woman by the Rolling Stones came on, and I was dancing, and we were playing volleyball. I was serving, and I was doing a dance before. And as I was doing, I was getting ready to, like, gimme. I just popped my ankle out. I stepped in a little hole, and it was like a shotgun. It was like a bang. The record scratched. We were playing records back in the 2000s.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, and I was like, that was like that microcosm of the rest of my life of like, this is all a party, and bang. And I couldn't walk.
Boy.
And the worst part is my girlfriend at the time had painted my toenails like 2 days earlier. I was like, yeah, paint my toenails. I go to the emergency room. I got lime green toenails.
Wow.
And they hadn't been trimmed, so I just had like pointy, crazy, shitty, like Dumb and Dumber toenails painted lime green.
So did they think it was the natural color?
I looked gray. I liked. No, they thought they could tell it was painted. It was like embarrassed, but it was also they were like, why didn't you clip these when she was painted? And it just looked like a homo. And it was really, really embarrassing. And
I got one of those. My bike got stolen when I was like 12. I used to live in a rough neighborhood, and these guys were, it was like 4 black guys who do the thing where they rub their front tire on your back tire.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Hey, where you going, pussy? Where you going?
Right.
I was like, well, I'm trying to get away from you.
Right.
And one of them was like, let me try out your bike. And I was like, I'm all set. And he's like, come on, let me just try it. I like your bike. I was like, I'm good. And then eventually, they pull in front of you, and you're like, all right, try the bike. And he got on my bike, and he just goes, see you later, and rode off.
Right.
I ran home crying, and then I got home, and I see myself in the reflection because I was coming from summer camp. Face paint. I was wearing face paint.
Oh,
like I had a rainbow on this cheek and like a cloud on this cheek.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine that? I forgot. I'm getting robbed while wearing face paint.
Right. That's embarrassing.
Boy, that was brutal.
That's brutal. I had a girl steal my bike, which is also embarrassing, being like my bike gets stolen by girls.
Wait, wow. How'd that happen?
But it was the same thing. It was these older girls. Yeah. They were older. And,
oh, my God.
They were like, can we borrow your bike? It was me and Ron Reynolds. And they're like, can we borrow your bikes, boys? And they were like, no. And then...
How old? Like 50? What are we talking? I'm picturing like some marauding old ladies on Harleys.
No, they were like in 7th grade and we were in 4th grade. Or whatever.
That's nothing. You could have taken them.
I know, but I was nervous. You're not supposed to hit girls, and I was scared of them anyways. I discovered recently I was scared of everything.
Apparently,
I'm still scared, but I'm the biggest pussy of all time.
Yeah,
like I'm scared of everything you could possibly be scared of. I'm scared of things, and then also scared of the opposite of the thing I'm scared of.
Right. So
I'm
you're
scared of the pool, and I'm scared of the ocean. I'm scared of kids, and I'm scared of adults. I'm scared of not drinking, and I'm scared of drinking.
Yeah.
I'm scared of sex, and I'm scared I'm never going to have sex.
Interesting.
Dogs.
Cats?
A little.
Oh, wow.
They scratch.
Yeah.
I might be more afraid of cats than I am dogs.
You never see a cat behind a fence and go, we should cross the street.
No, but they get that hunchback and the
That's
tail.
That's true. I
and
hate
they
the hunch.
Spit in weird ways or something. Horrible animal.
That hiss, that sends chills down my spine, the hiss.
And dogs, I get my balls busted for being afraid of dogs. But I'm like, they're fucking animals. They have sharp teeth and buttholes. It's all teeth and butthole.
Yeah, and police use them.
Yeah, they're cops.
Right.
Horrible. I'm scared to death of everying.
I understand the dogs. I mean, imagine if you saw a dog in the woods. I would climb a tree.
It's a wolf.
That's a wolf.
Wolf family.
Yeah.
I chickened out on Space Mountain in 1991. I was talking up this big game. I was 9 years old. I couldn't wait to get there. And this is embarrassing. I was going to go with my mother and my aunt. But here's what happened. Space Mountain, I thought it was a roller coaster where you all sit next to each other. And I was going to sit but they're both thick women. I was going to sit in between them like they were like a bun, like a safety. And then it's sitting like single file, like a gun. So I had to sit by myself in the seat. I got scared, and I chickened out.
Wow.
And they still went. My mother and I were like, we didn't wait in line to do that. They're like these sassy 30-year-old women, and it was so embarrassing.
That's brutal. I had the same thing on the water slide at Blue Bayou Water Park.
Yeah.
The big one was called Lafitte's Plunge, and it went vertical at one point. It was terrifying.
I've been on those.
And I was up there. I probably spent about 2 hours on the little dock on the deck up there,
Yeah.
before you go in. And I'm just talking to the lifeguard up there, and I'm like, people actually do this? And he's like, yeah. And people just walking by, going down.
Yeah.
Like 8-year-old girls going down. He's like, come on, man. What are you, a pussy? Get in there. I was like, I had like coffee up there and a newspaper. I'm like 8, just talking to this guy. Eventually I slid down, but it took probably the whole day.
Yeah, terrifying. I pissed my pants on a Ferris wheel with my cousin.
Oh.
My cousin Jamie, who was so nice about it, too. He was like, he gave me a shirt to wrap around.
Isn't that nice?
He was sweet about it. But yeah, I just lost it. I was so scared. I blame my parents there. I was very sheltered.
Well, here's the thing. I think, though, when I did the Lafitte's plunge, I wasn't that satisfied. Like, I was like, I'm glad I did it. It felt good to overcome my fear. But I'm like, that wasn't that great.
Yeah.
I don't see the appeal of all this fear mongering.
Right.
Like, oh, you got to ride this roller coaster. It's terrifying. It's like, well, that doesn't appeal to me.
Right.
Why do I want to be scared?
Interesting. Yeah. It's hard to work at, but you realize that's still.
Oh, it's still in there.
In you.
Scary movies. I don't want to do it.
Yeah. Sometimes I enjoy them. I enjoy them a little bit.
I don't like it. Okay, I can feel it. Something bad's about to happen. This isn't pleasurable.
Right.
I don't like it.
The anticipation can be fun.
I guess so.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
I'll tell you what I'm not scared of. You, Mark.
Hey, that's good.
Really enjoy talking.
I'm still a little nervous when I get a voicemail from you.
Is that right?
I'm terrified of voicemails.
Me too. I got terrible voicemail fear. I always think it's the person calling to tell me they hate me now.
I think it's bad news. Like you got fired or your dad's dead or something.
Yeah, I have the same thing. I never have a voicemail being like, this is going to be big.
Yeah.
I'm always like, they're kicking me out of show business and the family. And
you had a booger the whole time. Something like that.
Yeah, it's terrifying. I don't answer my phone. I'm scared to answer
I don't
the
answer
phone.
mine either.
I'm literally scared of everything. It's embarrassing.
Well, you're not scared of this.
No, I love this.
That's good.
Love being here. I'll tell you what I am scared of. Never ending this podcast well.
That's why we're still going.
Never going to do it.
I have the same
it's
thing.
Be weird. And we should end it with the same energy we began with.
All right.
We got to go!
Let's do it!
Wow, we're leaving!
We'll see you next time!
Follow the podcast at Tuesday Stories.
On Twitter. And hit us up at Mark Norm and at Joe List.
Comedy.
Yes.
At Joe List Comedy. Joe List is a lovely artist in England. He is probably getting tired of getting tweets at me. People being like, yeah, you got a tiny mouth, you faggot. And he's like, all right.
Yeah, check out his paintings.
So check us out at Mark Norm, at Tuesday Stories. And thanks for listening. Tell your friends. I think it's a laid back podcast. We hope you're enjoying it. And there's a lot more to come. And thanks for spending a little bit of your lives with us. We hope you enjoyed it, and we certainly appreciate you listening. And
tweet at us, tell feedback, try to keep it positive. We're very sensitive.
Yeah, we're very sensitive, scared people.
And if you call, don't leave a message.
No messages.
Text us.
We can't listen to it. Yeah, just text. And Mark, I love you, buddy.
Love you.
All right, we'll see you next time, guys.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.